situated here where I can hear better. Here. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Kmu Live Podcast. I'm your host, Ricky Chaburgi, and joining me tonight down there in Elkhardt's Derek, and back with us again tonight's Hope. How you doing, Hope?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Doing all right.
Do our mics sound pretty good? Can you hear us pretty well?
Yeah, sounds okay.
Awesome. All right, we're just trying some new stuff. I'm actually see if I can crank them a little bit. See if I can make them a little bit louder. I think they might already be as loud as possible. We'll find out. Let's see. Nope, they're not. How's that sound? Is that better? Or is it about the same? You there?
Much better.
Okay, cool. All right.
Bump my volume up just a little bit.
There we go. So what's been going on, man?
Not a whole lot. Got some snow. Got a lot of cold going on down here. Wish it'd warm up again. We got spoiled all these. We had a lot of 30, 40, 50 degree days. Now it's down to like colder than heck out there.
Yeah.
And then Queenie says, "Hooray, I missed Hope's face."
I drove to Hugoton at 8:45 this morning, and it was pretty bad. Like, I wasn't scared for my life or anything, but the roads were just really bad.
Not bad here at all. And D-Fur's here.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Christopher, how you doing? Interesting. I didn't see that, Daniel, on the comments here on the screen here when you popped it up.
Oh, you didn't see it?
It's not over here on the right where the comments are. It's weird that that one's not over here on the right. That's weird.
D-Fur says roads are terrible there. Well, we do got a crap load of cases to get through, so we'll just go ahead and get started. You're watching Kansas Missing and Unsolved. We'll be right back.
Part 1. Cold cases, stories left untold, families seeking answers, and justice waiting in the shadows. Together, we uncover the truth.
All right, we're going to start off with Dietrich Foster tonight. We've been covering him quite a bit, but we want to keep on covering him until he's found. He's missing from Independence, Kansas since April 12, 2020. Was 37 when he went missing. He's now 42, 5'9", 190 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. He was reported missing on May 12, 2020, last seen around April 12, 2020 in Independence. KBI agents and detectives from the Independence Police Department are conducting the case as a homicide based upon findings during the investigation into Dietrich's disappearance. Again, Dietrich was 37 when he went missing. He's now 42, 5'9", 190 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. Has a scar on his chest from heart surgery, a scar on the right side of his nose, has the following tattoos: a cross on his right forearm, the astrological sign for Gemini on his right arm, 3 dice on his arm, the name Dejeuner on his arm, and the word foo on his abdomen. If you have any information regarding Dietrich's disappearance, you know of his whereabouts, please call the Independence, Kansas Police Department at 620-332-1700 or KBI at 785-296-4017. And there is a governor's reward of $5,000 for information leading to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for the disappearance and suspected murder of Dietrich Foster. So if anybody has any information at all, no matter how small or minute or unimportant you might think it might be, call it in anyway. It may be a real big piece of what they need to get this case moving.
Have you ever heard any reasons why they think it's a suspected homicide, or is that pretty as much as vague as they've ever been?
Yeah, that's all they've ever said. They've never released anymore. I wish they would.
Right.
I mean, I know they can't release a lot, for fear of jeopardizing the case. So, I mean, surely they can give us a little bit more. I would think. I don't know.
Who knows? You know, it's 5 years seems like a long time, but when you look at some of these other cold cases, it's nothing really. 5 years is really short.
Yeah. I'm sorry if I sound a little nasally tonight, but my sinuses are kind of acting up a little bit. Unfortunately. I wish they wouldn't, but they are. Okay, we're going to talk about Alexander Perez, missing out of Ulysses, Kansas since December 1st, 2020. He was 35 when he went missing. He's now 39. He's 5'11", 235 pounds, black hair that he shaves pretty much bald and brown eyes. He'd called a family member via telephone on December 1st and said he'd be coming to their home to do some laundry. He never arrived at the family member's home in Ulysses, and he's not been heard from or seen by family or friends since then. He had been staying with family and friends prior to his disappearance. Again, at the time of his disappearance, he was 35. He's now 39. He's 5'11", weighs 235 pounds, black hair that he shaves nearly bald, and brown eyes. He has a tattoo of a bumblebee on his face underneath his left eye. Has Perez tattooed on one of his arms. He has a tattoo of a cross on a chain across his chest. If you have any information regarding Alexander's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Grant County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 620-356-3500 or the Ulysses, Kansas Police Department at 620-356-4600 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't help get Alexander located back to where he needs to be. And again, you know, any information you have, you know, get it in there, no matter how small it is. Get it in there. It may be something huge that they need. So please do call it in.
I was just looking too. He's 5'11", 235. Like, he's not a huge guy, but he's not a small guy. So if he was like taken against his own volition, like it would take a couple people, I think, to get somebody his size to, you know, move him somewhere you don't want to, where he against his will, basically.
Yeah.
Right. Did you ever get your computer hooked up where you could get to that call, or?
It's sitting next to me. It's halfway hooked up. I have to find a mouse and keyboard, but I'll get it next week. I promise. I got
Okay.
half the work done.
Gotcha.
Nunya's back.
Yep.
Ellen is here.
Yep. Welcome, everybody.
So,
And Texas Panhandle Girls here. And Jonathan Jensen's next one we're going to be talking about here. He's missing from Kerwin, Kansas. Missing since June 14th of 2023. Was 52 when he went missing. He's now 54. 5'11", 190 pounds, brown hair, hazel eyes. He did leave without his vehicle, his cell phone, or his wallet. His daughter tells us that he also has some mental health issues and does tend to have episodes. Again, he was 52 when he went missing. He's now 54. 5'11", weighs 190 pounds, brown hair, hazel eyes. You have any information regarding Jonathan's disappearance, you know his whereabouts, please call the Phillips County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 785-543-6885 or KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can help get Jonathan located and back home to where he needs to be.
I was curious what a cold case was. It says it's all probative investigative leads available to the primary investigators are exhausted and the case remains open and unsolved after a period of 3 years.
Okay.
So usually when I hear cold case, I think of like 20, 30 years. I guess it's just 3 years.
Wow. Okay.
3 years is a long time, though, to not know where somebody is.
Yeah.
Hello, Esther. Any updates on Haley Davis?
I wished I had some, but I sure don't. That's one that's to think about often, and I wish something would break in that case, but it's been quiet. Haley Davis has been missing from Salina, Kansas since July 21st, 2023. She was 19 when she went missing. She'd now be 20, 5'6" to 5'7", weighs between 190 and 200 pounds. Her hair was last known to be dyed bleach blonde. She has blue eyes. She did leave with a male acquaintance to go to Wichita, and she was last active on her social media and last heard from on July 21st of 2023. Again, she was 19 when she went missing. She's now 20, 5'6" to 5'7", weighs between 190 and 200 pounds. Her hair was last known to be dyed bleach blonde, and she has blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Haley's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210 or call Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477 or text SA Tips to Crimes, which is 274-637, or you can go to www.pd.solana.org and follow the Crime Stoppers link and submit a tip there. Or you can call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-268-4181, or 316-268-4407, or 316-263-6011, or the KBI at 785-296-4017. I did add the Wichita contact information because Wichita is, I guess, basically helping with the investigation down there on their end too. So if you have information in Salina, call the Salina numbers or the Wichita numbers if you're in Wichita, or either or. I guess if you're in Wichita, you can still call Salina, or if you're in Salina, you can still call Wichita. Well, let's see what we can do to get her found and back home. I know her brother is wanting to know where she's at and what happened to her. So is her aunt. She's got a little boy that I'm sure misses her like crazy. So let's see what we can do to help get her found.
I don't know who this. I brought it up a couple times on the show, but this KSAL.com, they have her as posted December 7th, so several months after she went missing, on their most wanted page. But like the more I look at this page, it doesn't look like a legitimate page. I mean, maybe it's legitimate, but it doesn't look like
it is. It's a radio station page here in town, but yeah, they only put it out there when Sheriff's Department gives them the most wanted to put out there. But I did inquire. I talked to the sheriff about it and asked why she was on there when she's listed as a missing person, and eventually she was removed. So I haven't seen her on the most wanted since.
You should contact that radio station. It's still up. They still have her as a wanted person, which
No, do they? I have to get hold. Yeah, I got a friend that works there. I'll get a hold of him.
Which, you know, if it was my daughter or sister or something and she was missing, I wouldn't want her on a wanted page, especially if you said that they took her off of there. She didn't need to be on there.
Right.
Ricky's going to cover this case. We won't do quite a bit as a deep dive, but if you go back to a couple episodes ago, he did a probably 15-minute deep dive on it, and I'm going to put that on all of our channels as a standalone video in this next week.
Yeah.
I'll cover the flyer for now.
Yeah, I won't go near as deep into it as we did. Actually, I'm just going to basically cover the flyer tonight, but this is another Salina case. Catherine Adam, missing from here in town since April 29th, 1993. Was 35 when she went missing. She's now 67, 5'4", 120 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. She was last seen at 4:30 in the morning on April 29th, 1993, at a Quick Shop convenience store in the 1700 block of West Crawford, here in Salina, Kansas. She drove a white full-size Ford van with "She Has Legs" written on the sides. It says blue lettering, but if you actually look at the photo there, it's white at the she's got, and then the legs is blue on the side, but white on the back. So it's a little, I might fix that. Her van turned up abandoned about 5:45 the next day, after she disappeared at Russell's Restaurant in the 600 block of West Point Boulevard. The restaurant was closed for remodeling at the time. The van was spattered with mud on the outside and blood soaked on the inside. Large amount of blood was also found at a storage unit in West Salina, where Catherine, a saleswoman for Legs Hosiery Company, picked up her stock each day, but there were no sign of her at either place, and she's never been heard from again. In addition to the blood found on the ground at the storage unit, they also did find bullet fragments. So, I mean, they have that too. Police speculate someone attacked Catherine when she was inside the storage unit. It appeared they interrupted her in the process of loading her merchandise into the van, leaving the door of the unit open. Catherine was separated from her husband at the time of her disappearances and was actually in the process of divorcing him. They did have a teenage daughter together. Her case remains unsolved and foul play is suspected. If you have any information regarding Catherine Adams' disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210 or Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477. Or you can text SA Tips to Crimes, which is 274-637. Or you can go to www.pd.salina.org. Follow the Crime Stoppers link there to submit a tip. Or call KBI at 785-296-4017 or 1-800-572-7463 and see if we can't help get her located and back to where she needs to be. I've been doing a lot of research and digging on her case. As you can see, this is all the newspaper articles that I have located regarding her case that I've been able to locate so far. And I'm going to put them all into a binder. And when I get a chance to set up my Kansas missing an unsold table again. We want to have that binder on the table for people to dig through and see what they can. Maybe that might help generate something. I don't know, but I'm going to give it every effort I can. And I see Muddy Water Search and Recovery's in the house. How you doing, Dennis?
Double T says KSL's your number one news outlet.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Yep. One of their reporters, Todd Pittenger, is a friend of mine.
Scott is here.
Actually, I should say a friend of mine and my brother's.
Yeah. Everybody who's watching, go to YouTube and type in that name right there, Muddy Water Search and Recovery, and subscribe.
Yeah.
They go live quite a bit, and they do like I would consider like each time they go live, they kind of deep dive one case. It seems like they go pretty in depth into like one case per time they go live. But I watch it every chance I get. I'm subscribed to them. Check them out. Muddy Water Search and Recovery.
I do too. Yeah. I think their last video, one of their last ones they did was like a reel that they're going to be showing at the home show, and the next time they set up at the home show.
I like what they do. It's very grassroots. It's just, you can tell it's just people that are just trying to get some answers.
Right.
And, it's a great channel. You can obviously follow them on Facebook too, but I know that on YouTube they do live videos, and you can obviously go through their whole catalog there as well.
Yeah.
And it's a few people at Muddy Water. So there's a few people there that are on the channel that sort of participate in the live all the time and everything. So.
Yeah, you're welcome, Dennis. Yep. Yeah, that would be nice for him to deep dive into Catherine. Not sure which bodies of water they would search, but you never know.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of flooding at that time. So, I mean, 1993, there was a lot of water on the ground. So, yeah. And I do know from doing my research and reading all these articles that at one point they had said they had extensively questioned her soon-to-be ex-husband, and they actually said they cleared him. So I don't know. But, yeah. So I do know that. See, Dennis says we will be in central Missouri and southern Kansas first weekend of April. We have 9 on our team. Awesome. Good deal. We're going to step into another Salina case. As soon as I find there it is. Alex LaRussa. He's been missing from here in Salina since December 8, 2017. He was 25 when he was missing. He's now 32. 6'2", 175 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. His last contact was about 4 o'clock in the morning on December 8th. He is wheelchair bound, and as his left leg is amputated above the knee. The vehicle he was driving was found on a farm in Kmu, Kansas, in northeast Saline County. His cell phone, clothing, wheelchair were all found in the vehicle, among other items. And when he went missing, he was 25. He's now 32. 6'2", 175 pounds, has black hair and brown eyes. Has a tattoo on the left side of his neck that says pain, and a tattoo of the number 13 on the right side of his chest, and the star on the left side of his chest, which I have pictured there on the flyer there on the right-hand side. And the pain one you can kind of see on the one where he's wearing the Nike ball cap. You can see it a little bit, and then on the other one next to the other tattoos, you can see the P of it anyway. But if you have any information regarding Alex's disappearance, you know his whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7120 or 785 KBI 785-296-4017, or you can call the 800-572-7463. Or you can also follow the other numbers and things off the other flyer. The SA Tips to Crimes 274637. Go to www.pd.salina.org and follow the Crime Stoppers link to submit a tip anonymously that way. And see what we can do to get Alex located and back home to where he needs to be. It's been a while since I've talked to his uncle. I need to reach out to him again and see if he's heard anything new.
To me, it's like, not to get dark, but like I've heard of a lot of cases, because whenever you hear that their phone and their clothes and everything that they owned was basically left like in the same area, it makes you think maybe they would like just walk off and just maybe live out, try to live in the elements, but just basically, to me, that's a sign of cutting off any kind of connection to the world we all share. But with this situation, he was wheelchair bound, so like how far is he going to get? I understand. Oh, I'm going to leave my cell phone and my clothes and all my stuff, but your wheelchair to, Alex, like that's paramount to him just getting 15 feet away, So to me, that's like the part that's kind of a weird part of the whole case is how I get it, but he had to have help if he was leaving on his own volition. I just, without the wheelchair, how does he get around?
Yeah, true. And Dennis says that they're digging into that case. I'm assuming you mean Catherine Adams' case, and you're going to cover it this weekend. I have tons of newspaper articles on my computer saved. If you need any of them, let me know, and I'll send them to you. I've been doing a lot of deep diving into her case, a lot of reading, a lot of research. So, yeah, like I said, I've got a lot of stuff on her case. Well, if I can get it, there it is. A lot of stuff on her case that I've been digging up.
So here's a case in Hutchinson, which I had never heard of. I don't think Ricky had ever heard of it. And this is just kind of goes to show you that how quickly things can slip through the cracks. This was sent to me by one of the mods from my channel. She sent it to me this morning. I sent it to Ricky this morning, and here's a fly. Ricky works pretty quickly. But tell us about this case. And yeah, I had never heard of this one. It was really sad.
Actually, when I went to post her flyer today, I noticed I had her previous flyer some time ago. I didn't realize I had, but I'd forgot about it. So what I did is I kind of did a Catherine Adams type thing with her. I went after I made this flyer. I went on the public library's website and jumped on their they have a link on there to go to newspapers.com where I can do it for free and I don't have to pay for it.
Really?
And dig through the archives and found a bunch of articles on her case. So I've got those on my computer now as well. But this is Gail Adele Leidy Sorensen, Leidy being her maiden name, Sorensen being her married name. But on February 11, 1977, Gail A. Sorensen left work to run some errands for her employer. After she did not return to work, her coworkers became concerned and notified her husband, who reported her missing. Later that evening, Gail's vehicle was found in the Dillon's parking lot at 734 East 4th in Hutchinson. A witness who was later interviewed said she observed a vehicle in the Dillon's parking lot that is believed to have been Gail's. She said that she observed a woman sitting in the driver's seat of the vehicle and an unknown white man standing outside of the driver's door talking to the driver. She said that both were laughing and she assumed that they knew each other. The unknown man was described as 26 to 28 years old, 5'10" to 6 foot, with shaggy brown hair, which was about collar length or longer. Described as wearing wireframe glasses with brown lenses, a red stocking cap, and he had a mustache and goatee. And I should have loaded up I have a composite sketch that I ran across in my newspaper archive digging that I have too. I can pop up. Several days later, Gail's body was discovered southeast of Hutchinson along the Arkansas River levee. Her throat had been slashed and she had been sexually assaulted. Police were puzzled as to how the killer gained access to the area since the fence prevented vehicles from entering, and officers had to break a padlock to gain entry. Her body could be seen from the other side of the water. However, fresh motorcycle tracks were found on the opposite side of the river. The bank deposit that she was supposed to make was never made. However, Gail only had $300 in cash. The rest of the $1,800 was checks. Gail's purse was noted to be missing. Investigators also noted that several years prior, they investigated 2 cases in which a man accosted a woman in a parking lot with a knife at a discount store. In one case, a man sexually assaulted a woman after forcing her to drive her car to a rural area. In the second case, the man was frightened away by another motorist. The FBI Behavior Analysis Unit was asked to construct a profile after graffiti was found in the nearby Hutchinson Cessna Fluid Products plant in May, as well as a random caller contacting the local radio station and having a 3-hour conversation with the hosts. However, police and the KBI have not discussed the connection. If you have any information regarding Gail's murder, please call the Reno County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 620-694-2735 or 620-694-2800 or the KBI at 1-800-572-7463. Or if you want to remain anonymous, you can call 620-694-2666 or 800-222-8477. And give me just 2 shakes here, and I will pop up that. Hang on a minute here. Trying to figure where I need to be. Pop up that composite, and then I can show you a newspaper version of that. That graffiti they were referring to.
My friend sent me this morning, and I kind of looked at it. I was really busy I do my taxes today. But I thought that was a little girl.
There's
Go
the
ahead and talk about
composite.
this. Yeah.
There's the composite.
Wow.
That was the composite. I pulled that out of one of the newspaper articles that I found on the library's website there. And I love digging into their newspaper archives, as you can tell.
I didn't know you
Let's
could do it
see.
for free.
And here is the article that contains the graffiti they were mentioning. As soon as it loads here we go. As you can see, it says, "I killed Gil Sorensen," initial BN underneath it there. Right there at the bottom right-hand corner says, "I killed Gil Sorensen." It's initial BN.
That could be real, or that could be somebody just being an idiot trying to get.
Yeah.
But pop
Just-
her flyer back up real quick.
Okay.
I thought she was like 13 years old the whole day until you started reading. You said her maiden name, and I was like, maiden name?
Yeah, she's 23. Or was 23.
She looks very.
Yeah. That might have been an older picture. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I guess that is a possibility that it's just an older picture. But yeah, I was just like, all day I thought it was like a little kid, like a 13 or 14-year-old girl. So
Yeah,
that's terribly sad.
I had a different picture that I cropped out of a news article that I used on the first flyer that I made over, and it was the only picture I could find at that time. I didn't know these existed. But apparently they got this off her Find a Grave, because she does have a Find a Grave.
Yeah, Raven's the one looking into this case. She found it today and she sent it to me. It's pretty wild when you find out, like, something bad happened in your own town. That's kind of when I found out about Suzanne Johnson. I had never heard about it until I found a newspaper article.
Yeah. I saved every article on Gail that I could find in the newspaper archives, and there wasn't too many, but there was more than what I figured there would be for being 1977. So
yeah,
there was some from 77, I think one from 78, one from 80, and one from 81. And 81, I think, was the last year that I had found an article for.
I've dug into a lot of cases from around my area, and this sounds horrid, but like I think that the reporting back in the 70s and 80s, like, they said a lot in those newspapers. Like they did, like, I feel like these days there's more couth in reporting. They're going to kind of you read an article about a small town homicide in the 70s and 80s, you better sit down. They're going to give you all the nitty gritty details. There's a lot of it's good writing, but it was different back then. They told you a lot of the story.
Yeah.
And I ran across a Facebook page called Kansas Cold Case that they cover this case on there too. And there's a lady that actually did a short reel where she's talking about the case, and she's doing it from the location where the body was found. So
yeah, it's gnarly. All right, you're watching Kansas Missing Unsolved Podcast. Hope is back in the house. She's here to stay. We'll be right back after this.
Part 2. Endangered Runaways. Young Lives at Risk. Stories that demand attention and a race against time. Together we can make a difference.
all right. Yeah, we got a lot of juveniles to cover tonight. And the last couple of days I've done a lot. Let's see here. I gotta find Mr. Lorenzo's flyer here. This is one that I did today. I've done flyers for him before, but I never had the tattoo pictures and didn't even know he had tattoos until today. So I added those today. I was sent pictures of his tats. So anyways, missing from Rose Hill, Kansas since February 11th of this year. He's 16, 5'5", 120 pounds, dark brown, black hair, dark brown eyes. His last seen about 5:50 this afternoon. He left on foot. He does have health conditions that require medication that he does not have with him. He is 16, again, 5'5", 120 pounds, dark brown, black hair, and dark brown eyes. Has a tattoo of the Kansas City Royals logo and "Rest in Peace, Ron," with the dates 9/2/79 and 12/2/20, or excuse me, 12/3/21. I gotta fix that. On his arms, and a small cross on the back of his left hand. If you have any information regarding Lorenzo's disappearance, you know of his whereabouts, please call the Rose Hill, Kansas Police Department at 776-0191, or the KBI at 785-296-4017, and see if we can help get Lorenzo located and back to where he needs to be.
My wife's mom is from Rose Hill. I thought it would be like a tiny town, but it's 2020 census is 4,100. It's decent size.
Huh. I didn't know how big it was. I've never been there.
Looks like it's pretty close to Wichita though.
Yeah.
Like it's just a suburb maybe.
Huh. Well, yeah, it had to be. I mean, it's 316 area code, so
Yeah. Pretty decent
Yeah.
size little
I
town.
think we have to think about one or two more. This is another Rose Hill right here. And we've done flyers for him before as well. John J.C. Gonzalez, missing from Rose Hill, Kansas, February 11th. Again, 2025, 16, 5'8", 125 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. Don't have much more than that on him, but if you have any information regarding John's disappearance, you know his whereabouts, please call the Rose Hill, Kansas Police Department at 316-776-0191 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And see if we can't help get John located and back to where he needs to be.
Tammy says she was in the media back then. Muddy Water says the news is a lot more censored these days.
Yeah, it seems like it.
You can't say certain words on you. I mean, you can say them all you want, but they'll take your money away. They'll demonetize your video.
Right. Yeah. Like you're not supposed to say the D word. You're supposed to say unalived.
Yeah. I'm
Like,
about to
okay.
unfriend Jeff Kenny on the clump of cells. He can't stop saying the F word. I have to edit it out. So what?
Yeah.
A lot of kids missing. Yeah.
Yep. This is Hunter Gonzalez. Yep, another repeater that we've done flyers for before. He's missing out of Kansas City, Kansas since February 8th of 2025. He's 17, 5'9" to 5'10", 170 to 180 pounds. Brown hair, blue eyes. Don't have much more than that. If you have any information regarding Hunter's disappearance and you know of his whereabouts, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-596-3000 or KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can't get Hunter located and back to where he needs to be.
I want to put this on the screen. We haven't talked about it in a while, but 1-800-RUNAWAY. If anybody's watching this show, you see yourself and you're missing on your own volition, call that number and they can get you some help.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't just try to hoof it back to your house. Call them. They can get you a safe way back. If your house isn't safe, call 1-800-RUNAWAY and tell them that your house isn't safe and that's why you ran. They can help you in that instance too. So
Absolutely.
Right.
utilize that number.
This is another one I just recently did. Natalia Ortega, missing from Goddard, Kansas since February 9th of 2025. She's 16, 5'3", 140 pounds, brown hair, blue eyes. Her nose is pierced. If you have any information regarding Natalia's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Goddard, Kansas Police Department at 316-794-2051 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can help get Natalia located and back to where she needs to be. And this is Andrea Revels, which I know here recently was reached out and asked about her and one other case from Cali County, and they were going to feature them on the Cali County Crime Stoppers Facebook, which Andrea is on there. Still working on the other one. I haven't been able to get a picture yet, so I'm working on it. And this is Andrea Revels, missing from Arkansas City, Kansas since December 2nd, 2024. She's 16. She's 5'4", weighs between 125, 140 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. Her nose is pierced. If you have any information regarding Andrea's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Arkansas City, Kansas Police Department at 620-441-4444 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't help get Andrea located and back to where she needs to be. And yes, in Kansas, we call it Arkansas instead of Arkansas. So it is Arkansas, Arkansas City in Kansas.
Yep. They do get upset if you mispronounce it.
Yep. I had somebody try to call me out on that one time on one of our lives a while back, and I was like, no, you're in Kansas. It's Arkansas.
I learned that like in the first grade. Yeah.
And this one is Keyshawn Turner, missing from Leavenworth, Kansas since August 1st of last year. It's 13, 5'8", 135 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. Don't have much more than that. If you have any information regarding Keyshawn's disappearance, you know of his whereabouts, please call the Leavenworth, Kansas Police Department at 913-682-4411 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Keyshawn located and back to where he needs to be.
I'm bad with ages. I thought that dude was like 20 years old. Just look when the pictures popped up. I was like, oh, there's a young man. And you're like, he's 13. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And this is and this young lady has been missing for quite some time here. She's been missing from Wichita, Kansas since May 12th of 2021. So it's been coming up on 4 years here pretty soon. Was 16 when she was missing. She's now 20. 5 foot tall, weighs 140 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. Her ears are pierced. Don't have much more than that. So if you have any information regarding Wendy's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9254 or 316-660-9456 or 316-263-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And see if we can help get Wendy located and back to where she needs to be.
Thanks for stopping by, Cozy.
Great to see Hope again. Catch these on the replay. Thanks for doing this, Derek and Ricky. You're very welcome. And this is another one that's a few months old. And let's see. I know she's on here somewhere. Oh, there she is. My computer did an update last night and it scrambled up the order of my flyers on my paint program, so that takes me a little bit today. Okay, this is Jennifer Carranza. I'm going to say this is Erucia. I hope I said that correctly. If I didn't, I apologize. Missing from Olathe, Kansas since November 2nd, 2024. She was 16 when she was missing. She's now 17. She's 5'6", weighs between 125 and 130 pounds. Sandy brown hair, brown eyes. She was last seen walking in the 14,900 block of West 154th Street on that day. It's believed that she may be in the Topeka or Leavenworth or Kansas City, Missouri areas. She is considered endangered due to a medical condition. And she was 16 when she was missing. She's now 17. She's 5'6", weighs between 125 and 130 pounds. Has sandy brown hair and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Jennifer's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Olathe, Kansas Police Department at 913-782-0720 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can help get Jennifer located and back to where she needs to be. And we have covered her flyer before, but I added some more photos to it. The two on the outer sides of the left and right there I added. So I'm going to try to get some more pictures out there to hopefully somebody recognize her and call that in and say, hey, here's where she's at.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, November.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is a recent one that I just did. And this one's concerning, and I'll get into why here just shortly here. Got to find her flyer here. I know it's on my list somewhere. Or maybe it's not. Oh, crap. Let me go get it. Hang on. Give me 2 shakes.
Well, I just see that she's with an adult male, so I get why you're.
Yeah, I spoke with her mom, and yeah, they're not happy about that situation at all. Liliana Avalos Green, missing from Wichita, Kansas since February 9th of this year. She's 15, 5'7", 120 pounds, brown hair, hazel eyes. It's believed that she is with a 19-year-old adult male. It's believed that she may be still in the local Wichita area, or she may be in the Towanda, Kansas area. And she's 15, 5'7", 120 pounds, brown hair, hazel eyes. She does wear eyeglasses. If you have any information regarding Liliana's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call 911 immediately or call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-263-6011 or 316-660-9254 or 316-660-9456 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can help get her located and back to where she needs to be. I know her mom's very, very upset about the situation about her being with a 19-year-old man, which rightfully so. I mean, 19-year-old should not be messing around with a 15-year-old, period, under any circumstances.
Yeah,
No.
Period.
not good. Not a good look for sure.
No. And this one I added the second from the right photo to today, and I wanted to get her out here again today because I did that. Shelby McDaniel, missing from Kansas City, Kansas since March 26, 2024. 16 when she was missing. She's now 17. 5'5", 164 pounds, blonde or white hair and blue eyes. She has ties to Crestline, Kansas, Columbus, Kansas. She has ties in Oklahoma and Arkansas as well. Again, she was 16 when she was missing. She's now 17. She's 5'5", 164 pounds, has blonde or white hair and blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Shelby's disappearance, you know of her whereabouts, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-596-3000 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. See what we can do to get her located and back to where she needs to be. It's coming up on a year here next month, so let's see if we can get her found. And I like the picture that I was sent today, the one that's second from the right hand. I was sent that today, and I wished when I would get flyers or photos for juvenile flyers that they would all be that good and clear and no effects and stuff like that, and no AI. Just plain Jane pictures, man. I mean,
Yeah,
I know
you
you
got
can't.
filters on everything.
Yeah,
TikTok, Snapchat.
Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah.
AI has just made things a lot more difficult.
I
Let me
think
tell
Derek
you what.
needs to do a filter for me. I'm looking pretty old today.
We're gonna
You're
make
fine.
a Backbone Media filter. It's gonna be it's gonna make us look handsome.
Yeah. And this is another one that I was asked to share again because she still has not been found. And again, it's been a little while. So let's see what we can do to help get her located as well. And that's another one that I seem to have lost out of my paint list here. So let me pull it back up pronto. And she is Tess Jantz, missing from Wichita, Kansas since December 3rd, 2024. She's 16, 5'1" tall, weighs between 100 and 110 pounds, blonde hair, hazel eyes. Don't have much more than that. Looks like she does wear glasses from time to time. Not sure if it's a full-time thing or just a sometime thing. But if you have any information regarding Tessa's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9254 or 316-660-9456 or 316-263-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see what we can do to get her found and back to where she needs to be. I mean, it's been a couple of months now, so it's time to get her found.
Yeah.
All right, we have a few more flyers for you. Then we will be back next week. We'll be right back after this.
Part 3. Out-of-state cases. Beyond Kansas borders, stories of the lost and the unsolved remind us that every missing voice deserves to be heard.
All right. This one is Rochelle Elizabeth Hammond. Man, I wish when they do their updates, they didn't shuffle everything up.
Hey.
But they do. And that looks like another one that got dropped out of my list. I'll gun it anyway. Let me grab it here real quick. It'll take me 2 shakes. It's right here. Yep. You know, and going back to the juveniles we just covered, we do know that some of these juveniles do watch these shows because we did have that one that did actually turn himself in live on the show the one night. So we do know they watch them. So
I wonder how that dude's doing.
You know. Yep. And this, oh no, hopefully he's doing well. I hope. Yeah. But this is Rochelle Elizabeth Hammond. She's missing from Oscar, Colorado since August 15, 2019. 30 when she was missing. She's now 35. She's 5'6", 120 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. She was last seen walking away from a Moscow, Colorado home. She left all of her belongings behind, including her phone, her identification, her car, her computer, her tools, and her pet dog. She'd only been living in the area for about 3 weeks prior to her disappearance. She previously lived in the Columbus, Ohio area. She may be homeless. Although police can find little evidence in her disappearance, her mother believes she did not leave of her own accord and may have been a human trafficking victim. She does suffer from bipolar disorder and schizophrenia and has been prescribed medication for her conditions, which she also left behind. Her nose is pierced. She has numerous tattoos, including the phrase "live like a lion" on her upper chest, a star behind her ear, a skull on the back of her wrist, stars on the inside of her forearm, a cat with a bong on her shoulder, and other tattoos. Some of the ones that I went over are pictured down there at the bottom there. She was last known to be wearing a black tank top, khaki shorts, black Nike shoes, and she has a silver circular barbell in her nose. If you have any information regarding Rochelle's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Alamosa County, Colorado Sheriff's Office at 719-589-6608 and see what we can do to help get Rochelle back home to her family where she belongs. Yep. Still hard to believe that's Colorado.
Right?
I wish it wasn't like 10 hours away. I'd go.
No. I'm a lot further than that.
Yeah.
All right. And this one's Dana Jane Bruce. We cover her we cover her every week, actually. She's missing from Sedalia, Missouri since October 4th, 2008. She was 23 when she was missing. She'll now be 39. She's 5'2", 98 pounds, brown hair, green or hazel eyes. She was last seen at her children's babysitter's home in Sedalia, Missouri. She left the children there earlier that day so she could go out for the evening. She returned at midnight and gave the babysitter more money and asked their children to watch the children for the rest of the night. And Dana was last seen at Malone's Bar on Main Street with a young man driving a late model red Ford F-150 truck earlier on the night of her disappearance. She left with that man at 11:30 p.m. Police have identified the man that Dana was with on the night she vanished. He traveled to Atlanta, Georgia after her disappearance, and police questioned him about Dana after he was arrested there on unrelated charges of marijuana possession and driving on a suspended license. Authorities have not named him publicly, but they are calling him a person of interest in her case. He told his questioners that he and Dana parted ways after they left the bar, and he never saw her after that. She left all of her belongings behind, including her hairbrush, her toothbrush. She doesn't have any credit cards, debit cards, checking account, cell phone, or a car. Again, when she went missing, she was 23. She'd now be 39. She's 5'2", weighs 98 pounds. She has brown hair that was colored brown at the roots, black at the ends, with red highlights, and she has green or hazel eyes. She was last known to be wearing a black shirt with the word Rebel and silver lettering on the front and blue jeans. Has a tattoo of a teddy bear with wings and the name Dylan on her upper left arm. She is blind in her left eye, and she has a 2-inch scar along her lower spine and a staple scar on her right shoulder. Her ears are pierced 1 time each. If you have any information regarding Dana's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Sedalia, Missouri Police Department at 660-827-7823 or 660-826-8100 or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178. Or their toll-free number is 866-362-6422, or you can call Private Investigator Leslie at 910-427-0070 and see what we can do to help get Dana back home to where she needs to be. It's been a long, long time, and her family really wants to get her home.
Yeah.
And I don't think is Ellen with us tonight. I haven't seen her in the comments tonight.
I didn't see anything. Maybe earlier.
I didn't see her name at all. I just scrolled through and looked a little bit there and didn't see her.
She was there right at the beginning of the show.
Oh, there she is. Okay. Hey, Ellen. Okay, let's see here. I got to find Chisholm here. Scott Stewart Chisholm, missing from Springfield, Missouri since January 18th, 2025. 67 years old, 6 foot tall, 175 pounds, gray hair that's balding and brown eyes. He had given a car to a family member on January 17th, 2025. Family member has since found a letter inside the vehicle indicating that Scott may be suicidal. He does have a history of Parkinson's disease. He was last known to be driving a white 2012 Toyota Camry with Missouri license plate LG0K5T. And there's a picture of a similar vehicle to what he's driving down there at the bottom. He was last seen driving eastbound on Chestnut Expressway and Glenstone Avenue. And he's 67. He's 6 foot tall, weighs 175 pounds, has gray hair that's balding, and brown eyes. It's not known what he was wearing at the time of his disappearance. If you have any information regarding Scott's disappearance, or you know his whereabouts, please, or you see his car, please call 911 immediately or call the Springfield, Missouri Police Department at 417-862-7911 or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or 866-362-6422 or call your local law enforcement agency if he's seen outside that area. So we can do to get Scott located, and hopefully he's safe and sound somewhere, but let's do what we can to get him found. And you're very welcome, Ellen. You know, we're going to share them both every week, hopefully until they're found. We want them found, so we're going to keep sharing them every week until they are.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I think that's everything, isn't it?
Might be. I'm not sure. Let me look. Yeah. That should be the last one. Unless you want to cover Time Marquardt again.
Do you have it?
It's still in there. I mean, you can cover it if you want to.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Time Marquardt, July 27th, 1995, Elkhart, Kansas. A suspicious death. Time Marquardt had recently had a falling out with friends that he had made during his short time in Elkhart, Kansas. Ty had left on foot with intentions of walking back to Perryton, Texas. In the early morning hours of July 27th, 1995, Ty was struck and killed as he walked down State Highway 95 in Texas County, Oklahoma, by an unknown vehicle. The official ruling was an accident. However, lead detective Chuck McInerney was certain that this was no accident. Ty's family also believes this was no accident, as someone would remember hitting a person even in the dark. If you have any information regarding Ty's death, please call the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation, 405-848-6724.
All right. Yep. See what we can do to get that situation resolved too, because it sounds a little suspicious to me.
I have to get my computer hooked up, but you have 2 or 3 flyers, Oklahoma cases, young guys found on the side of the road, accidental hit and run, and the cases are officially closed and nobody knows who hits them. I think I'm going to get all those pulled. Maybe we can cover all 4 of them next week. I think that's an issue.
Okay. Yeah. We can do that.
4 kids that are dead and nobody's, I'm not even saying throw anybody in prison, but at least find out who hit them,
Right. I was taking a look at Springfield, Missouri Police Department's Facebook to see if there's any updates on Mr. Chisholm, but they don't have any updates at the moment. So still missing.
A friend of mine told me that I didn't read too far into it. I get a lot of messages on TikTok and stuff, but they had said, hey, I know you and Ricky don't you only cover Kansas, but I think she was alluding at we need to cover the Springfield 3, but I was just gonna write back like we've done that. Ricky did like a 30-minute, standalone on that case.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe we need to reshare that one. I mean, there hadn't been anything new. I mean, it'd be nice to generate. Hopefully, we can get some information generated on that, because that's a long time overdue too. I mean, the big sticking point on that one was the fact that a guy went into parking garage, I believe it was at a hospital location, and found some anomalies under the parking garage that would be kind of consistent with people being buried there. But for whatever reason, the police department refuses to dig it up. So I don't know. I can't remember what the reasoning for that was, but they just were not wanting to dig it up. So I don't know.
I mean, I bet it would. If it's not true, it's a lot of work, and you have to shut down the garage and everything. I mean, I kind of get it. I mean, if I own the garage, I'd tell them to dig it up, but I guess I could see somebody's argument.
Right.
Said they've had over 5,000 tips from the public.
Man, that's a lot of tips.
And it's been on 48 Hours, America's Most Wanted, Investigation, Discovery.
Yeah, it's been everywhere.
People Magazine.
Yeah. I've watched a lot of videos. Other YouTubers have done videos about it. I mean, it's been covered a lot. It's a very bizarre case.
On the Wikipedia page, it says, see also Fort Worth missing trio, unsolved 1974 disappearance of 3 girls in Texas. And then 1978 California case, the Yuba County 5.
Interesting. I know in the Springfield 3, when there was a guy they had incarcerated in Texas, I don't know if he's still incarcerated or not. He might still be. But they thought maybe he might be involved in it, and they went down to question him, and because he made a comment that he knew they were dead, and so they went down to question him about it, and he said he wouldn't talk about it until after his mother passed away. So I don't know if she's still around or if she's passed, but he had made the comment that he won't talk about it until she's passed away.
Yeah, Wikipedia says that, but it doesn't say anything about her not if she's alive or not.
Yeah.
My guess is if he's not going to say anything, I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, I don't know. And it could be just somebody. I don't know.
It could be somebody wanting attention, or.
Well, yeah, you like somebody that's like incarcerated for a very long time. Like you gotta be careful what they say. Like they have literally nothing but time. You know, they can mess around, you know.
Yeah.
It's just I could see somebody being like, I'm just gonna mess with, because like I'm assuming if you're in those kinds of situations where you're talking to police, you're probably not in your cell or not, and like you're probably like, you know, maybe getting some food brought to you in exchange for I mean, I could see why somebody would just string along detectives for
right. Well, it's like the serial killer team of Ottis Toole and Henry Lee Lucas. They confessed to hundreds and hundreds of murders that they were not even anywhere remotely involved in, but they confessed to them anyway. You know, I guess it was an attention thing. I guess, you know.
I think it has a lot to do with it too. You go in to talk to detectives, and they might start like I said, they might start handing you some McDonald's, you know, some.
Right.
I'm just assuming in that situation, if you're a detective, you want to make this person comfortable, so they'll just open up and talk. And there could be some people that are just bored enough because, like, yeah, they have nothing but time.
Well, and you know, being in prison, you don't get McDonald's, you don't get ice cream, you don't get cheeseburgers. You know, you get chicken kill a convict and chicken nalakine.
If I ever end up there, I'll just be like, I was there when JFK went down. Bring some McDonald's. I'll talk for hours. Just keep putting McDonald's in. You know, just make up stuff. Because yeah, I bet you. You just get some. Even if your only prize is just getting to leave your normal routine and going to like another part where you're, you know. Probably. So yeah, I think you got to be careful, but at the same time,
you have to explore
why even say that, you know, like that specific kid? Why I'd be like a guy in Texas, the Springfield 3's in Missouri, like why even? So there's probably something to it, you know.
Apparently he did live in the Springfield area around the time they went missing, so
yeah, that's what that article said.
Yeah, apparently he did have a connection to Springfield at one point, so
I mean, there's probably something to it. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, I could see how somebody would just make something up, though.
Well, I mean, sometimes you get like sellies that one will be talking about it and the other one will take credit for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Haven't heard anything new on Randy Leach's case. I know Dennis Muddywater's Search and Recovery. I know he's been really deep diving into Randy's cases. He's, I think, done a search or two out that way too, and I know he's talked to Randy's mom, I believe. And
is that the case where Adventures with Purpose went there and they got like a real skeevy vibe, like people were kind of telling them to get out of there? Was that the case? Yeah,
that one. Yeah. Adventures with Purpose went out there and they said they would not go back out there.
Because that one, we haven't covered that. We should cover that next week. We haven't covered that in a long time, but to me, what was weird about it is everything makes sense until you get to the part where they come out there very quickly after a dude goes missing and the barn where the party was is just squeaky clean.
Right.
You know, real quick. I don't know a lot of people who party and then be like, hey guys, great idea. Now that everybody's winding down and we're out of beer, grab a broom. It just doesn't make sense. It seems like more like maybe they were cleaning something up. So yeah.
And Dennis, if you're still watching, you can chime in on Randy's case if you want to, and give us your thoughts on it. I don't know if he's still watching or not, but if he is, you're more than welcome to chime in.
Well, and that wouldn't be the okay. So even I'm speculating, but I'll do it. So what was that other case, Stargale Boomer, where people saw something happen, but they're collectively like not talking, like
right?
Like, I don't have So again, like say that I don't know. We haven't covered Randy's case in a long time. Say there was 15 people there and 2 people did something bad to Randy. I could see how 13 people are going to take that information to the grave because they're just like scared.
Yeah.
Right.
Not a lot of people have the courage it takes to turn something in like that.
And that's the thing with Star Boomer's case too, is there's all them witnesses, but because of I guess the defendant is who he, the suspect is who he is, nobody wants to speak up.
Yeah.
Which is sounds like.
That's scary,
Yeah.
Those people that saw that, they've had to see some other stuff. Well, just seeing whatever maybe he potentially did to Star would probably be enough to make somebody be quiet,
Right. We'll have to cover her again too, because we haven't covered her for a while either.
All those we'll do Randy next week. We'll do Star.
Yeah.
Let's cover those. And then we won't do a deep dive, but we should at least go over the Springfield 3 also.
Right. Yeah. It's
in those cases to Hope tomorrow, so she can kind of go over them between now and next week because they're interesting. I mean, she'll probably be on people anyway, but still, interesting stuff for sure.
They're interesting. They're spooky. I mean, it just Star's case by itself is just unreal. I mean, she's in a bar, she gets knocked out and disappears and not seen again. So I mean,
knocked out by a man, right?
Yeah, knocked out by a guy. It's just a really weird situation.
And then just never seen again, and all the people that were in the bar are just like, I didn't see nothing.
And Roxanne saying the older couple who won't let the pond in the yard. Yeah, they have a pond in their yard, but they won't let anybody search it. That's right.
Because with Leach, there's a car missing too. It's not just Randy missing; it's a car, which is harder. I could, not to be gross, I could see making it to where nobody would find a body, but a car, unless somebody that has like a car crushing company, and they're not going to, they're going to take it to the grave. A car is hard to get rid of, but that pond, didn't the barn that was cleaned very, very quickly after he went missing, didn't that also burn down like a few years later?
I think I'm not 100% on that, but I think so. I'm not sure.
Just crazy coincidence after another. Yeah,
definitely.
But I never watched a lot of Adventures with Purpose because that was back before I was really watching a lot of YouTube. But I remember you had told me to watch that video, and they, in my opinion, they seemed very skeeved out about being in that town.
Right.
Like they were getting a lot of weird, comments and looks, and they just kind of got out of there from what I did. They did do a little bit of because there's more than just that pond on that couple's land. There's a couple of bodies of water. Didn't they? I think they did some. They might have even found a car, maybe.
I don't remember. They might have.
I think they found a car in that area, but it wasn't his.
I know at one point, Dennis, Muddy Water Search and Recovery, he was in the search for a vehicle identical to the one that Randy was driving because they were going to try to do some in-water tests with it to see, how far a car like that would drift down the stream and stuff, and try to determine if maybe it could have drifted down the stream because they're still thinking Kansas River possibly, or Missouri River. I can't remember which river, but one of the two. But they were wanting to do, like I said, some in-water tests to see how far a car would drift. So that's what they were wanting to do. They were also going to do other tests with it as well. So I don't know if they ever found one or not, but I know they were looking for one at one time. So hopefully they can conduct that and see what they can learn from that, because it may help them actually pinpoint a search area to look into. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get out of here, but the last thing I'll say is, with as much water that there is around where he went missing, my first guess would be like, oh, this guy, because he was drinking, they were all drinking and stuff. It was a party, so I'm like, okay, maybe he had a few too many Bud Lights and he drove into some body of water. But just the eeriness of how it was cleaned up, the building burned down. People don't, similar to the Gale Star Boomer thing. Nobody wants to talk all of a sudden. I don't know anything. I don't remember anything. Very, very, very interesting situation.
Yeah, I remember one of the last things I read about Randy was, and it might even be on his flyer, I'll have to reread it, but was talking about it that he was even having trouble staying on his feet. So I don't even see how he could drive a car if he was having trouble staying on his feet. That's what makes no sense to me.
But even
Right.
then, though, the only people that would know he was having trouble staying on his feet are the same people that didn't see anything. You're like, I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything.
Right.
I don't know. And then you got to wonder, okay, rarely, like not everybody is the type of person that's going to go. A lot of people will go out and have some beers. Ricky's not going to go out and have some beers, but a
No.
lot of people will go out and have some beers. But most people aren't going to get to the point where they can't walk, So you got to wonder, did somebody put something in his beer? Like was it? I don't know. He drove himself there. I don't see how he would be like, hey, I'm going to get blackout drunk and then try to make it home with all these bodies of water between my eyes. It's just a lot of, and again, if more people were willing to talk that were there that night, then you would have some more pieces of the puzzle where you wouldn't have to, your brain wouldn't wander, but
right.
You just have what was said, and that's kind of sketchy.
See, I'll make sure we get Randy on the show next week and get Star on the show next week and get them on there again. Talk about them again. Yeah, because those are two cases just really, I mean, especially Stars. I mean, that's a prime example of people know what happened, but they're just terrified to say anything. So,
yeah,
which I understand. I mean, if a guy's that violent and has that much disregard for human life, especially a woman, then yeah, I would be scared too.
The older couple thought Adventures with Purpose were aliens.
Okay, I heard that one. That's a good one. I haven't heard that before. No, they're just trying to help figure out what happened to a young man that's been missing for quite a long time.
Long time.
Yep. That's all they were trying to do. But I guess they were getting threats too.
That's what I was under the impression of, is that AWP was getting threatened, and they kind of, from what I remember, they kind of ended their video pretty quickly. Like, we're gonna go.
Yeah.
People looking at us funny.
Yeah, I know they in some searches, like with what is her Suzanne Murphy up in Colorado, when they were doing searches for her, they actually had guards basically helping keep an eye on them and keeping an eye on their stuff while they were searching for her.
Might be a good idea to bring guards if you're going to go messing around in areas you don't know where people might have secrets. You might want to bring a guard.
Right.
Yeah. At least carry a gun. I don't know. If you can.
I went to during the missing mom things, before there were arrests, we were down like going in that area where a lot of the people that are in jail right now live, and we didn't have a guard, we didn't have a weapon, and we didn't have a phone signal most of the time. Like, I'm really thinking about getting the Elon Musk internet if I'm going to keep messing around with dangerous stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, that's scary when you're out in the middle of nowhere and you have no way to, like, I don't even think the 911 feature would have worked, honestly. But I have T-Mobile. I heard that T-Mobile is now connected to Starlink. Like, they're on the Starlink. Instead of using the towers, they're just using the Starlink now. So I did notice I didn't lose my signal today in the two places I usually do on the way to work. So
wow,
yeah,
I didn't know they were on Starlink
now, and usually from Wilburton to Rolla, I don't have service, and I have service all through there.
I'm telling you,
it's a little sketchy, right? From like state line to CRI, it goes in and out through that area, but
I never have a signal between here and Keys. Like, there's nothing. But yeah, I think it's going to be better. So like the whole Starlink thing is going to be good. Super Bowl Sunday, they announced it during a commercial that T-Mobile users, it says all devices they're switching over to Starlink. So
if I won't get till Starlink crashes.
Right. I wanted to say something. Hopefully the 15-year-old that's missing is watching. I remember what it was like to be 15. I was married at 15.
Oh, wow.
And I thought he was God's gift to everything.
Right.
And he was only 3 years older than me, so he was 18. He was still in school. I didn't think nothing about it. I can guarantee, as a mother, if my child at that age would come home with somebody that was 18, 19, 20, I would lose my ever-loving mind on them. At 15, you think you're in love. You don't know what love is yet.
Right.
And they can promise you all the good things in life. you're not going to get them, babe.
Yeah.
Just to be a realist though, like because you hear about that, like the Susanna Johnson case, that she was 14, she was hanging out with Johnny Wilmer, who was 19, and you hear that with modern ears, and you're just like, ew. But I remember in high school, girls that were freshmen when I was a freshman that were dating seniors, or guys that were out of high school,
It
and
happens all
you
the
could,
time.
Dr. Phil couldn't have convinced them that it
I
was a
know.
bad idea. Like, and again, I think this is the thing is like there has to be a different way to convey that message, because like it's like, and it's not just girls. Like I think
Oh, boys.
14 to
Yeah.
23-year-old humans are just know-it-alls. They know
Absolutely.
everything, and
Parents are stupid.
Yeah.
Don't know nothing.
Yeah.
Ready to be adults. And
Right.
my mom died when I was 14.
Oh, wow.
So I was married at 15, divorced at 15. It didn't last long. But, me and my ex are still very good friends. Matter of fact, me and his wife are like the best of friends. We've lost touch in the last 5 years, but,
No.
but I was raised a little bit different than these kids are these days.
I think if I would have had parents that wouldn't have stopped me, and a lady that was interested, I probably would have got married at 15. Like I thought I was, I was like, and I think a lot of that too, maybe even if you don't come from like a quote unquote broken home, maybe you didn't come from a home that you're just like stoked on. So you have the whole idea of like having your own home and, all that stuff. So I kind of get it. Like,
I do.
I don't want to make this 15-year-old girl feel like,
oh no,
like you're stupid. No, it's just
No.
like, hey,
No.
I get that you think this is a great idea, but I promise you 29-year-old version of you is going to look back and be like, yeah, that guy was kind of not, that wasn't a great idea,
Yeah.
exactly.
No, I'm gonna kind of rebut a little bit, I guess. There are exceptions to every rule. I mean,
There it is.
and I'll give you a success story. My sister, she started dating my brother-in-law when they were 14, and they got married when she was 17 and he was 18, and they're still married over 30 some years later.
Yeah.
So there are exceptions.
There are exceptions, and and I'm not saying that this 19-year-old's a bad dude, but he's
No.
19. She's
Yeah, and he
15.
shouldn't be messing with a 15-year-old. Bottom
I mean,
line, I mean, he
and
should be nobody.
It's not even really the age. At 19, you still don't have a life. You don't know where you're going in life, and how you gonna bring somebody else that's younger into it. Life's hard.
Yeah.
Even at 49, I struggle at 49. I'm almost 50.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, God, I wish I could go back to when I was 14 because life was simple then.
No, I know, right? The worst part about it, and kind of Roxanne kind of touches that a little bit. The older man, the more the chances of him being a pedophile. Same time, though, he could have been trying to groom her to traffic her too. I mean,
Yeah.
worst case scenario.
Absolutely.
And
who knows how long they've known each other,
right?
been
Right.
involved with each other,
Yeah. It's just hard to
a scary
say.
world.
It is. It's just hard to say. I mean, you never know. Never know what their intentions are or what they're. He could be a nice guy. He could be trying to groom her. You just don't know. You just don't know.
You don't. Not anymore.
But I just hope they find her and she's okay, and he's not
Absolutely.
mistreating her in any way, shape, or form. And
That's what I.
even if he's not harming her in any way, he should be held accountable for messing around with a 15-year-old and removing her from her family and potentially out of town. So he needs to be held accountable for that.
Absolutely.
And I hope he is. So.
All right, buddy, you know what to do to get us out of here.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for hanging out. Me and Steph
Thanks,
might be live
everybody.
here in about 10-15 minutes. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah. Thank everybody for tuning in and sharing the show and sticking with us. And just want to say, Heavenly Father, thank you for being with us tonight and getting us together so we can go over these cases and hopefully help bring some missing people home and resolve some cold cases that need to be resolved. And as always, I always say I pray for the right these flyers to reach the right ears, the right hearts, will do the right thing, and hopefully these shows will reach the right people and touch the right hearts to do the right thing. And until we see each other again, everybody, God keep everybody safe and healthy and happy, and we'll see you all next week. And amen.